because we need to kind of. Oh yeah. We should bring Okay. Very good. Howdy, ma'am.
Y'all, please stand. We'll go to the Lord in the word of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you for this glorious day. We thank you, Heavenly Father, that you're here with us during our meeting. We pray that you guide us and lead us everything that's said and done, and to bring praise and glory to you. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for your Son who gave his life on Calvary's cross for us. Dear God, be with us now. These things I pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Loud 1 to 9.
Yeah, that just should have already been in.
Ready to be here a while.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have roll call of the commissioners. Warren Fleetwood. Present. Mary Key. Ken Montgomery.
Here.
Present. We have a quorum.
Excellent. We'll begin with approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our previous meeting.
I didn't see any problems with them when I read them over, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next up, approval of the claims. We have ACH for $74,139.57. CAW 2, $8,765.04. CAW 1, $2,844.60. Sheriff, $11,254.98. Highway, $159,334.16. Courts, $675.96. County General, $247,344.04. Excess refunds and ditch claims, $1,523.24. LIT and Will surtax distributions, $612,592.39. June insurance, $344,149.30. Payroll deductions, $157,192.45. Payroll, $352,616.17. Payroll, $345,729.42. Payroll deductions, $152,924.69. We'll entertain a motion to approve those claims.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. Moving on to our old business, Diane Hornby with the Gibson County Health Department is here to give us a COVID update. Diane, if you would, we'll invite you to the podium.
Okay, I think everybody's very much aware that the COVID cases are going up in the county. We are now in the orange advisory, which is, we are the second highest rate of COVID in the state right now. So that's not real good for all of us here.
We were number one this morning.
Was it, I thought I was so too, so I don't know if my past is.
overall.
Okay, well, we might have one. Anyhow, that's not where you want to be, it's number one. But just to kind of give you a breakdown, in January, we had 811 cases, February 144, March 197, April 126. Then we dropped down to 63, then we went to 38. And now in July, we've had 112 cases of COVID-19. So you can tell we really bumped up. And so we are seeing some of the new variants. They're doing some testing. We had a little bit of an outbreak in one of our long-term care facilities, but it was only like a matter of like 6. The number I got is 6 to 7 people. And so it is pretty much in our community. So it's not just the long-term care facilities that we're having problems with. So, you know, as this unfolds, we're going to go into schools. I've met with the superintendent with all 3 school systems. You know, we discussed the need for kids to be wearing masks when they go back to school. The CDC guidelines, as well as for the state Department of Health, is that all unvaccinated people should still wear their mask. Okay. So you can pull up the CDC guidelines related to that, or the state Department of Health, and they have all of the school systems have been given that information. So from our recommendation, we recommend, because any of the kids 12 and under have not been vaccinated, and especially with the high rate of spread in our community, we definitely feel like going in with masks, and we can always back off later if the numbers go down. So, but that's the guidelines, or that is the recommendation from CDC as well as the State Department of Health. So with that, I have had some calls related to service workers, public service workers in the county, and some concerns about if they're not vaccinated, do they need to quarantine, you know, if they're exposed to a positive COVID case due to their essential worker. So I looked into that today and spoke with the Deputy Commissioner in Antonis, as well as I spoke with our State Department of Health local epidemiologist. And as a county, we should have enough staff vaccinated at this point that any public service worker that is not vaccinated and is exposed on the job, say it be an EMT, a firefighter, police department, anything like that, they should quarantine for, you know, at least the 7 days where they can get tested at day 5. But when you do the 7-day quarantine as a close contact, you still need to socially distance and wear your mask for full 14 days. So it's kind of our responsibility as a community to make sure that these public service workers are vaccinated. I'm doing vaccines tomorrow at the health department. You don't have an appointment, you can come on in. But I think we really need to try to get anybody that's working, you know, public service, whether it be firefighters, EMT, police department, sheriff's department, health department, any of us that do public service, to get them in and get them vaccinated. I did check with the county, and if they are not vaccinated, they will need to use their sick days because we do not have COVID pay. So they would need to use their sick days for that. And I did give you all the guidelines. The State Department of Health came out with new, pretty precise guidelines on how to handle a COVID case. And that was sent to all the schools. We can get that to any business that would request that. But it pretty much spells out what needs to happen if you're a close contact or if you're a positive case. And that was just released to me today. So, but the thing that the state really wanted me to get out is, you know, as a public service worker myself. That it's our responsibility to take care of the public. I mean, public health, that's what we do. And that, policemen, firefighters, it is their duty to take care of the public. And so, it is their duty to get vaccinated when we can prevent the spread of this. So as a commissioners, I would really want you to encourage these agencies throughout the county to get vaccinated. Because we are really going up and we're gonna start seeing deaths again if we don't get a hold of this. And the only way to stop the spread that we have vaccinating and wearing our masks and being smart about big social event. The other thing that you may want to look into, and hopefully we don't have to do this, is start downsizing events in the community, as in weddings. I know we've had some really large weddings. And I also know that we've had people come out of those that were positive. So, anytime you have a large event, especially if it's indoors, there's a real high risk, even if you're vaccinated, if you're that heavily exposed, you may become positive. Now, we haven't seen people horribly sick that were vaccinated. They may get the virus and become sick, but not to the point, the majority of them, not to the point where they're hospitalized or anything. But again, I'll be vaccinating tomorrow at the health department. Anybody that wants a vaccine, and we have all three. We have Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. So we'll be glad to take care of you. Or if an agency wants us to come on site and give their vaccines, we'll do that also.
Diane, are you giving the COVID per se only, not only, but on certain days, or is it just any day?
Well, we normally do them on Wednesdays, strictly because when I open a vial, I either have to use it or I have to throw it away within 6 hours. So if people just walk in and it's one person, then I have to throw the rest of that vaccine away, which is very wasteful. So we try to do it on Wednesdays. Now this week I did it on Monday and Wednesday. If there's a group of people that want vaccinated, I will definitely do it 5 days a week if we need to. So it's just, I hate to open up a vial for one person because I usually end up throwing it away. It's usually, most of them are just good for this. So, as far as other things within the health department, as you can see, we did get a few of the things together related to financial information. And we've been super, super busy with septic systems. Right now, we've got a lot of new housing developments and people getting them fixed, new houses going up. So Ben has had 127 calls and visits related to septic issues and 25 flat split. So super busy his department has been. And I mentioned this to the council the other day when I presented my budget for 2021, that Ben is planning on retiring in the near future. He's given me a tentative date of next year. And so with that, he has quite a bit of time built up after being here for 30+ years. So he is working with me and I'm having him work 4 days a week instead of, going for a long period where I don't have anybody in that position. So that's leaving me short-staffed in that area. I'm hoping after the first of the year to request that we go ahead and hire a sanitarian. If he's gonna retire in July, the training at the state is in February and it's once a year for that job. And you have to have that certification to be able to do that position. So, it's something that it's not really, we have to address right now, but I just kind of want to give you a heads up that we're looking into that happening next year. And I think we're going to have to get somebody trained and utilize him to train them before he's gone.
Well, that's not somebody you're just gonna pick up, and because they do have to study and pass the exam and everything, so you have to have some time.
Right. And like I said, the state offers that training in February.
But there is no, you don't have to have a certain degree to apply for the, okay.
No, you don't have to have a certain degree. However, it is real helpful if you have some kind of knowledge about, working with the soils and, the lay of the community and stuff, where the different types of soils are, as well as building in, just in general.
Right.
The building process, so that's about what we have, unless you have any questions about the vaccine.
I was just going to ask you, Diane, where is the best location to be tested right now? Should folks go to the health department? Should they go to, either to Gibson General, or where would you recommend they go? Maybe Evansville's a quick route for them, or any suggestions there?
Well, we had the testing site until the end of June 30th, and then we obviously closed down because the fair was coming. Since we have closed, we've had this big spike in cases, and every day we have some in the health department, and some to be tested, which we're not testing at the health department, we're vaccinating at the health department. So I have made some calls to the State Department of Health about us reopening our testing site. We were given a $100,000 grant to run that testing site, and I still have $50,000 left. And I have staff that will work it. I just have to find another site. And so I think we need to reopen, because Gibson or any of the Deaconess facilities, if you're needing a test for travel or, an event or anything, there's a $139 charge for that test. And I gave you the paperwork on that. You can just pull up the Deaconess site and see that. I'm hearing from a lot of people that it's very difficult to get tested right now since we went down. So do you all feel like you want us to get back up and going, so that there is somewhere free for the county residents?
And you're saying that the hospital is sort of cooperative, or they're opening their testing back up?
But there's a fee to it. And
Oh,
so
okay.
many of our people don't have the money.
I see.
Do you know what I mean?
Right. How are we on tests? Do we have an ample amount of tests, or do we need to purchase some more?
No, the state will provide that to
Okay.
us for free.
Are you able to handle it staff wise? If we were
I
to,
had the staff in place before,
Okay,
and
okay.
I know I could bring 2 of them back. And that's basically, I don't think we would need to go in 5 days a week, kind of work with Gibson General, and, if we did 2 or 3 days a week.
sure.
I have the trailer at the health department, but it has a small air conditioner on it, but if it would be raining or something, and I really don't want to utilize our safe place where we vaccinate children and stuff for the testing site. So it's a matter of finding a different facility, and the fairgrounds will not be available because they're having so many events that, they're not been able to have events, and so now they've got that building that we were using for the event. So that's not a good
All right.
area for us.
Do you feel there's a genuine need for it right now to reintroduce it into the community?
I think so, especially when schools get started and, kids are exposed. And we also had the rapid test as well as the PCR. So, we could give them the results in 15 minutes. Now, if that was negative and they chose to do a PCR, then it was, around 2 days is usually what it takes us to go. So, my emergency preparedness coordinator, Kevin Cox, is working on that, as well as myself. I'm just not real sure once we shut everything down, because we've got to there's a process to get that system back up and running. It's called Zotec, and that's where the scheduling is taking place, as well as the supplier to pick up our specimens, that is picked up and taken to the state lab. So we got to get all that back in place. So it's not going to happen overnight, even if we follow through with getting it started.
Well, do we need to make a motion on that? Well, I make a motion, they open it
Just
back
say,
up.
yeah,
If
go ahead,
the
if you can find.
COVID's coming up that much more, we need to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like, the schools are I think we're gonna see kind of, all these people are on vacation right now with Toyota shutdown and everything. We definitely seen a spike in cases when people are coming back from traveling. If you're interviewing them, they've just traveled, and so we're seeing them pick it up in the different areas. And I think that's why the Delta and the Alpha variants and stuff are coming into our community.
Can you offer a one-stop shop? Could they get tested and then go get vaccinated at the same time? Like, what if they suspect that, what if they're symptomatic and they want to be tested? Do they have to wait a certain period of time after that test to get the vaccine?
You do not want to get the vaccine when you're sick. Yeah. So, you know, that would not be a good scenario.
But it'd be up to the individual if they wanted to be tested just for like travel purposes.
Yes.
They weren't symptomatic and they wanted to go get the vaccine immediately
Yes.
afterwards. They
And
could.
we frequently see that. You're seeing more and more need, even like if people are going into a nursing home, they have to have like, I think it's 2 negative tests now before they'll admit them. You know, and just little things, if you're traveling and you're gonna take a cruise, I think you're gonna have to show a negative test within so many hours. And if you have insurance, your insurance may pay for the testing at the hospital, but we do have a large clientele in the county that maybe don't have insurance that would pay, and that would be a hardship on them to have to pay $100 for a test. So that's, you know, why I'm gonna present it to our Board of Health also. You know, we've discussed it a little bit already about possibly having the need to open that.
Fair enough. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second to?
Yeah, I mean, if you can find a place and you have the money for it, why not facilitate it?
And like I said, I'm gonna have to check with the state and see how fast we can get that. It's not gonna be overnight. It took me about 2 or 3 months to get it set up the first time. I'm hoping that when we were set up, we can jump back into it really easy,
Right,
but I have to get those contracts rewritten.
Right.
And, you know, it just takes. a
or
while.
maybe since everybody has experience in it now, maybe a little quicker.
Yeah, but, yeah, I think some of my staff will come back to do that. Is there any buildings in the county that would have a small area that's kind of off by itself? Uh-huh. Okay, okay.
Yeah, then we got treated for mold.
Yeah.
We went to there.
And we could definitely do that, and we could even move throughout the county, you know, and send that to different areas in the county, like a beach library. But I hate for you, you almost have, yeah, you probably, you want to make it where it's a room, I mean, we can sanitize it when we leave, but people are uncomfortable going in a room where they test it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to put a stigma to your area. Yeah. Because they're testing there, so people don't want to go. You understand what I'm saying? So, but we will be glad to work with, and we will go, I can send the staff, it's fairly easy to send them.
I know Fort Branch has a, fairly new community center there, close to the railroad tracks. Might be something we could utilize. Oakland City, Worth Park. I mean, I think you have some options is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
look into,
Yeah.
you're thinking maybe move it, like do 3 days a week and have it at 3 different sites.
I think I would leave that up to you.
We'll just have to see, because it's again gonna come down to where can I get those, our pickup for our specimens. You know what I mean? I have to have those
Right.
transported to the state lab. So, I just have to work through some of the logistics of that and see what we can do.
well, they're probably similar, like you said, community centers, but they also have a lot of things going on this summer too.
Yeah,
So,
so we like
yeah.
to do an area that is kind of specified for that. And that's why I don't want to use the health department where we give the vaccines.
Yeah.
You know,
Understand.
yeah, I prefer to use a different, it doesn't have to be a big area, but I do need somewhere they can come in and sit down and swallow.
And I'm just trying to think, some of our towns have shelter houses that maybe don't get used frequently.
Mhm.
That's another idea.
And I will look into some of the county buildings. I'm not aware of anything unless, maybe we're over where Andy's at. I don't know if there's any part of that building that's not a lot of public going in and out of it. There you go.
There's nothing really separated
Okay.
other than, Andy and Gary's office. Everything else is
Okay.
pretty open. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What about contacting the Red Cross?
We can do-
Seeing if you could use one of their,
Yeah, look, that's the police department now, isn't it?
It's-
The police department.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm glad to work with him. They got a little Because that would be pretty easy for the public to get there in this park too. That's what we gotta look at too, is it handicap accessible?
Appreciate your message, and I think it goes without saying that we need to just take care of ourselves. And the old cliche question is, am I my brother's keeper? And I think in our community we are. We have to look out for one another and our fellow Gibson Countyans. So whatever we can do to keep each other healthy and safe, we need to do, whether it's COVID or some other disease or ailment. So I appreciate the message you're sending and all you're doing, and I know it's a difficult challenge, right? It's an uphill battle for you, but you're doing a great job with it.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have then.
We'll see you. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Finish the motion.
Yes, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next up on our agenda is the COVID-19 Response Program Phase 3 grant monies. And we've received some overwhelmingly great news on this. We have an extensive list of businesses that have qualified for some help to kind of help them shore up their losses. At this time, we're going to make this list available to our media outlets and anyone else who would like to know post the meeting, let us know for sure. But it's all public record, and I believe you can even find these on the website. But I'm just going to ask now, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve our COVID-19 Response Program Phase 3 grant monies.
Second.
Motion made in a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next up, Fort Branch Johnson Township Public Library, Laura Hoppy. Laura, welcome back. You've been working diligently on this project, and we're anxious to hear your final presentation.
So my name is Laura Hoppy, and I'm going to be talking about the Fort Branch Johnson Township Public Library. We'll let you know that I had many people come to me and ask when this meeting was. So I know I have a lot of supporters in the crowd. So I would like them to raise your hand and kind of show who's here to support the Fort Branch Library. So, and I did not recruit anyone who's.
Some good looking faces out there. Good looking faces.
Well, we've got a number of supportive emails too that I've appreciated.
Indeed. Indeed.
Great, that's great to hear. Great. So I'm here to respectfully ask for your recommendation to be moved on to the redevelopment board. For the use of TIF funds. So this is our current Fort Branch campus for our library. The first picture is the Carnegie, and the second picture is our learning center. So I want to give you a little bit of history about our library. So early in the 1900s, Fort Branch found themselves in the industry, and that came people. And today we're seeing the same thing. Gibson County is continuing to grow, and because of that, Fort Branch is continuing to grow. In March of 1916, 7 people met in someone's living room and made the first 7-person library board for the purpose of bringing the library to the town for culture and education. I don't know how we did on the culture, the education. Today, we continue to run a library with a 7-person board. The library has grown to include a branch library in Comstock. And then the board also wants to see this library continue to grow as the community grows. In June of 1916, they purchased a cow pasture for $950. And they also met with a representative from Carnegie, who gave them a scholarship or awarded them $10,000 to build that library. And that is why it's named Carnegie Library. You will see that throughout the country. You will see Carnegie Library. Today, the library has purchased land for an addition to the library, and we're asking the commission to consider needs. So it was interesting when we looked at what they needed to provide to the Carnegie group and what you guys requested in the 12 questions that you gave me. They're very, very similar. So they both wanted a demonstration of the need for the library, provide a building site. You need to be able to pay your staff and maintain your library. They want you to draw from public funds for sustainability. And then provide free service to all. And we have been providing service for the last 100 years. So our need, this is a reminder from a past presentation. Fort Ridge Library is in yellow, and the other Gibson County Library that's similar to us in size. Our patrons are telling us they want to use physical items out of our library, and our patrons are wanting to attend public programs in person, not online. So just this year, I had to turn away 2 tutors for the summer. We had 2 tutors come in twice a day, both of them, but I have 1 programming room that provided privacy, and I could not get the other one scheduled. So I had to turn away 2 tutors. We have an adult exercise class that I cannot advertise because it continues to grow, and I don't have enough room. We're squeezing tutors in. We have patrons come to us and ask us for a second book club. We have one that runs once a month, and we have anywhere from 12 to 15 people attend. Our programming space inside is limited to about 20 or 25 people. And so you can see this was our last program for the summer. And I couldn't even get everybody in the picture. We had well over 100 people in attendance. And then we have a survey we've had out for about 2 weeks, and 100% of those people, of the patrons that have turned in the survey, support the building project. So benefits to the Tiff district and to Gibson County. I want to read to you this quote. There is a group that is doing a study currently. They're not quite done, but their website, according to the Rural Library Services and Social Wellbeing, a library facilitates community members' belonging, connection, and mutual support. Having a library correlates dramatically to improved quality of life. So this library district serves Union and Johnson Township. Our Tiff district is in Patoka and Union Township. So if you have a library card anywhere within Gibson County, you can come and use our library for free. So as far as tax revenue, it will not create a lot of tax revenue, but it's going to be welcoming to people, and they'll want to come to our town, they'll want to spend money while they're there, eat while they're there, possibly live while they're there. We do have a lot of people from Toyota that utilize our services there at the library. This is also a reminder that, well, you really can't see that purple line here. There's a purple line around the property that the library has already purchased in movement forward of this program. In addition, we'll address specific needs. So let me turn this on. You got it going now. So this is the building that we currently have. This is our learning center. This is where we currently house our books. This is the room that we have for programming. What we are proposing here really spreads things out, gives people a place to sit. Oh, look at that, I can do it myself. So with this, we're gonna add study rooms. So we'll have 3 study rooms. I could have 3 tutors at one time. We're gonna get our programming space back, so we'll be able to have 200 people at a program or more. We're gonna add a kitchenette spot with the ability to lock the doors to the library so people can use this after hours. We have seating areas for people to come and use their laptops, and we have free Wi-Fi. So funding and maintenance. So the library started drawing property tax in 1917. And we continue to be funded that same way today, property taxes. So in 1916, we got a grant for $10,000 to build the first Carnegie library in town. In 2001, the library board had saved enough money that they built a learning center, totally from the savings. In 2013, we added a branch library. We did receive an Oprah grant, and the Summerfest Committee and the town COPSAT helped us with the land purchase. But the rest of it was done with library savings. That building was built as a branch. It is not a large building, but it does have areas for seating. We are able to use bookshelves to have small programs, but it is a branch. And the Fort Branch library is the main library, and that's why we need more space there, so that people can come to us for programming. So additional operational costs. So our staff, as far as our library clerks, there's not going to be immediate change there. Our cleaning crew will increase simply because of size. Our utilities, the engineering firm that we are working with gave us estimated numbers of increases, and that's looking to be about 25% increase. And then insurance, we also got an estimate of about 18%. Our budget today can absorb these costs without issues. Universal Design are the architecture firm and engineers that we are utilizing. We interviewed 3 different architecture firms. They are out of Berlin, Indiana. We went through many libraries across the state of Indiana, by the different architects to see what we liked and what we liked about them. And this is who we decided on. We're nearing our final planning stages, but we can't move forward until we have funding secured. They will help us, the board, assist with the bidding process. They will speak with the construction people. And they also employ a construction specialist who's on site multiple times, who will make sure that it's being built to specifications. And we will also make sure that the equipment that they are using, the products they're using is up to code. This again is the cost breakdown. I gave you guys a packet last week and it has a more detailed breakdown, but if you have any more questions about that, I'd be happy to talk to you about it. So in June of 1917, the first Carnegie Library opened. Our future plans are to open a larger library while not taking this library down. We will utilize both buildings. But I'm asking for you to have as much forethought as these people did in 1917 to build us a library that can serve us for hopefully another 100 years. Do you have any questions?
I've been that with you the whole time.
Just the internet.
I don't blame you.
She's not moving.
Fellow commissioners, I think this would be a good time for some discussion. If you have any discussion or
My discussion is the same as always. I've been back in the libraries. I think they have priority. They meet the parameters that are required for TIF monies. And I'll also reiterate that we can put forth 100%, but that does not mean that the TIF board will feel like they can do 100%. But I am more than willing to go at 100%. Because we need our library. That's all there is to it. I mean, as you said, it's not only the education of our children, it's for the betterment of the senior citizens and the middle range too, guys. So, I'm behind you 100% on it.
I'd say we send you to the redevelopment committee.
Thank you.
That's what we need to do.
Thank you.
and I'm going to have to echo what they're saying. I think in the spirit of the Carnegie family and their philanthropic efforts, I think we need to fully endorse this project. And I feel good about this project on multiple levels. One being that we have already worked with Oakland City and their library. We've also, provided funding for the Princeton Library project. And so I feel like this is kind of the third tier, if you will, and a very worthy project. And as I was listening to you talk, I was thinking about the value of this project. And I sometimes I think projects maybe aren't necessarily tied to monetary evidence where, dollars. I think the value of this kind of project is its betterment to the community and kind of our forging forward with promoting literacy and education. And I was a library rat when I was a kid. Spent a lot of time there. Librarians sometimes would tell me to leave, but I always liked the library, and for odd reasons, sometimes it'd just be to find a book with big words. Sometimes it would be just a place to hang out. And so it's my hope that all these libraries in our county are like that they provide some kind of shelter for kids and folks of all ages. So I'm going to have to agree with the other commissioners on this and support it. At this time, I would entertain a motion to move forward with the project. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, Laura, but $2,620,000 is what you're asking for us to send forward for the redevelopment to consider.
What was the amount? 2,600,000.
20,000. Yes.
Also move for the full amount.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Motion made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next up, the Owensville Carnegie Public Library.
So my name is Margot English, and I am here to speak not just for myself, but for my board, my staff, and for the people in the Township, and the people of Victor County, because as Laura said, my staff and my board and myself have spent many, many hours over several years with this plan to formulate what we think is the best for our community. We serve, as I said, the Wabash and Montgomery townships and have reciprocals. We provide the normal goods, we do food deliveries for kids from schools. We serve people the best we can if they can't come in or come to the second floor. And we partner with the schools by providing books, World Book Online, which is the book encyclopedia. We provide that to the schools, and assistance for the book fairs and excursions. Now, one of the things that is in the question of the STEP questionnaire, the formal questionnaire, is how do we support the TIF district? We support the TIF district by supporting the workers and their families, their schools, their organizations, because a good worker has a good home life, and that helps them know that their kids go to better schools, the churches can come and have events, or we can help them with paperwork, we help with their organizations. And childhood literacy is also a very important one. As mentioned several times, that a successful child, literacy-wise, contributes to the community, and that also brings forward future workers. So a strong, healthy community is a sum of all of its parts. Not just the libraries, but the libraries do support a strong community. We want to be a good neighbor, and that also goes back to how we build a human need. We want to be a good neighbor by providing services like the event spaces. And after a recent concern about parking, we did a parking lot because we want to make sure everyone parking is not an issue. And we found that the usage was generally from 1 to 14 spaces. And so we feel like we can work with that. With anyone that needs to work with us with that. And I've got detailed documentation. One of the things that we just purchased Harrisville across the street. The reason why we did that is because we are desperate. Desperate for programming space, which we have none at all. We do not have ADA toilet rooms. Our toilet rooms are less than 35 inches wide. We do not really want to provide specialized programming for autism. We cannot provide access to materials to patrons right now because they can't get on the second floor. And we want to serve all of our friends and neighbors. Even though we're grandfathered in as a 1917 building, it's immoral for us to not have access to programming. I don't have a more specific slide for this, but we've been very careful with our money. We have additional, we are able to do additional cost therapy. The projected, we purchased the existing building for $186,000, 88. So the total ask tonight is $8,036,500. We could come to you tonight about all of our needs in one building. But that would be over twice the $836,000. So we feel that we are being very responsible with this money in doing the purchase of the existing buildings and then building on the ADA addition. This is very important to our community, and I certainly hope you should also consider us for this. Thank you. And
You all came before and, you know, the commissioners supported, you know, you going to Tiff when you originally did your
yes,
ADA and that's necessary. And if anybody was counting, Gibson County has 3 Carnegie libraries. And we don't want to lose any of them. I think that historically and everything, it's very important. The fact that we actually got 3 communities qualified back in the early 1900s for our Carnegie Library.
this has a lot about our students.
And we need to move forward with that. And, you know, yeah, I support you 100%, like I always have, so.
This 186,000, is that the parish building?
That's purchased for the land that's across the street of the parish building, and we have a lot of things to purchase that. We scraped up the money from our donations and from our operating fund that we've been saving, because we, like I said, we are desperate for more space. When Laura talks about having programming space, we have none, none. We don't have an ADA bathroom. We don't have the room to move around in our storage rooms. This will give us programming room, it'll give us office space. It'll give us so much. The only thing we'll need after the purchase of this building is the elevator and bathrooms for the Carnegie building. Will allow people to get employees, because let me tell you, there are 6 employees on staff in all of this, but one had any problem with something. It's very difficult to be working on one floor and need to go to the bathroom on the second floor. I've had an employee quit because of a hip problem. Luckily, she didn't sue us.
What do you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, they're no different
Yeah.
than Fort Branch Library, Oakland City Library, Princeton. Library education is one of the big priorities of the pass-through money from Tiff. And we're fortunate enough to actually have it. And they actually forfeited some money that they'd previously gotten from Tiff to put the elevator in the bathroom and actually even some of an addition, right? Or was that, I can't remember
The
exactly.
original $100,000 that we were awarded was awarded specifically for an elevator addition. And since this is
Right.
much more than that, we were advised that we needed to revamp this.
Right.
to come back. We could not.
Because we talked about a possible addition at that time.
Right, well, that was for the additional, right,
Yeah.
I mean, the availability of the parish building came very quickly and the building is virtually move-in ready. It has bathrooms, it has the space, it has, as you can imagine, every kind of electrical.
Yeah, it has all the wiring needed.
It has all the wiring needed. That building has been in contact with our building for support for our backup systems and everything. It would be very easy for us to move our stuff over there. Herber right now is sitting in a place I better not say in public because it's not legal and it's underneath some water pipes.
Mhm.
So we're very, but we had to move fast on this.
Right,
The $100,000 could not be applied to that.
right.
What did your, I know I've asked you this before, but what did your appraisals come in at for the parish building?
It was higher than 100 million.
Higher.
Yes. And I can send those agreements.
But on the 180, you guys virtually spent your money in order to assure the ability to have this
Yes.
expanded
That's correct.
facility.
Well, I'd say we need to send you to the redevelopment committee too.
I'm sorry.
We need to send you to the redevelopment committee too.
Yeah.
And they can decide what they want to spend. But I think it's a good thing.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
Do we have a motion on the
Make a
floor?
motion to send it
Second.
to the tip for the full amount they're requesting.
Okay, motion made and a second to send it to the redevelopment commission for further consideration. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next up on our agenda, we've got the Gibson County Senior Center, Julia Rahman.
Thank you. How you doing?
Card, you can print it by Mary.
Right.
First, I appreciate you letting us come tonight and to present this possibility. Sorry. First, I want to let you know there are a few seniors here tonight. Patricia over here, Dolores, Becky. He's kind of a senior, but he's also an employee. Is our latest employee. She's our office manager. And we have 3 board members here, and Diane Harvey's a board member. What I gave you, I think this process all started when several months ago, we realized there were some COVID funds coming from the federal government to the state and then to the county. And I came at that time and proposed that if some of that money could be used at the senior center. COVID was hard on a lot of people, but we feel the seniors suffered so much. And at the same time, we're trying to do so much at the center to help seniors get through it and let them know that we care about them. And there's some things, I'll be honest, at the center that we just are behind on. We did talk to Ryan Gogol with Rudolph, and that's the proposal you have in front of you. I will say the main reason, and I think you can all agree on this, how we treat our seniors is a lot about our culture and about our county. And it's disappointing that the parking lot is in the shape it is. But Ryan came by and said, he looked it all over and gave us this proposal and gave us, I thought, a very good price, that if it could be done at the same time that the county roads are done, this would be an opportunity for us to do that parking lot. It's a bad situation. Becky here with her walker she can't even use it, because it just doesn't roll, there's gravel everywhere. So she goes to a pane. And Ryan agreed that the asphalt ramp is not the right grade, so obviously it's not ADA approved, and we would solve all that with this proposal. We feel like this is just an opportunity that we can do this now for the seniors. And so tonight, I am asking for the amount that you see in front of you, and asking if you would approve that amount for Rudolph to do this parking lot at the same time as do the county work. I don't know if you have any questions, or if you get a chance to look at that proposal.
That's a lot better price than what I thought it was gonna
I was very impressed. I think they're doing us a favor.
Yeah.
I expected
Well,
66.
They don't have to move very far whenever they're doing work for the county, so that makes a big difference.
Exactly, and that's what I want to do it in a timely manner.
Now, are you asking for county money? You asking for COVID money? You asking any money? You don't care where it comes from. Well,
Pass the hat.
you know, I really think with, both the maybe previous COVID money and especially that coming in, that it does qualify, for COVID money,
That would be fantastic.
which has to be granted by the council. What we could do is we can recommend it to the council that they have to appropriate the money. We can't appropriate it. The council has to.
I'm concerned about the timing.
Well,
We have this,
I am too.
I call window of opportunity.
I am too.
Right.
I think we have the county paving contract coming about and all this paving. And this is an opportune time to secure it at a reasonable rate, if not, very inexpensive in regards to pavement.
Yeah.
And I like the course that we went last time with seeking the TIF funds to use for this project, like we did with your HVAC system. And I mean, we have to be frugal with those funds, but I mean, I've got a page long list here, of some of the things that we've approved and some of the prospective projects on the horizon. And I think there's more than an ample amount of monies there to pay for this out of TIF, should we want to go that route. So just my thoughts.
I don't know what needs to happen that we can, the way Ryan was explaining, they're gonna be in the county meetings in town.
All right.
So I don't know what you suggest to get this.
I don't know, I talked to Matt, but I don't think the county's gonna start getting any, paving done till later on in August.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I understand. So, I mean, we've got 30 days to, it'll be 30 days from today, that
This quote, the way I understood it, it's dated July 11th, and I think we have to get this approved in 30 days.
what do you think would be best to see? if
council
TIF
does not have their meeting until August the 13th.
Do what?
The next council meeting is August the 13th. Now, I think you could probably get Rudolph to extend it for a couple days. I mean,
Well, I know what something needs to be done. I've been out
yeah,
there.
but, oh, no,
It's
totally
there.
agree. It's in
It's
terrible
in
shape.
that shape, but we're just trying to get it done.
You know what?
And I'd be sick if we lost.
Well, it's almost. a
Right,
gravel
right.
parking lot.
Yeah.
And Attorney Jimmy McDonald, he did a really nice job on speeding that through the last time we went that route through the redevelopment commission. And I just feel like he would take care of us on this,
Yeah. I just, as far as the dates, I don't know. It does say 30 days it's in the notes.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd probably get sent into them
Because-
before that time.
Well, shortly.
Yeah, it'll be,
When is the?
say it again, Kay.
August the 12th is the next redevelopment.
That's only a day before
No,
the commissioners.
August the 9th.
August the 9th, 's the next redevelopment. Okay, and when's your deadline?
Second Monday. Well, this is dated July 11th and the price is valid for 30 days.
Double check that date if you would, Larry and Kay.
Yeah, you're right, it's the second Monday.
Yeah, it would be August the 9th.
August the 9th, and when do you have to let them know by?
August 11th.
August the 11th. So, yeah, we're kind of pushing it there to the end.
Yeah, I mean, the HVAC, that worked out well, but I think in the end, it took like 60 days to work that out.
I wonder if Rudolph would act upon a letter from the redevelopment commission, kind of like what they've done with the YMCA and some other projects. I would expect them to, right? I
Because
mean,
they'll be within the county for at least 30 days.
So
Get
you
me-
need to approach Ryan with a letter that we'll go to this next meeting and hope stuff.
Due to, meeting scheduling and that the ability to get it there by August the 11th is, would miss it by a few days. I can't honestly see,
Yeah.
I can't honestly say, Rudolph say, well, no, we're not going to give you 2 more days.
I mean, I get the sense with everything, the way Ryan acted in this price,
Yeah.
I think they want to work with us. So are you saying go to the redevelopment commission?
I think we're getting to that point. I would make a motion that we send this to the redevelopment commission for processing and, try to do so in a speedy fashion like we did with the HVAC system, especially given this rate.
Well, this COVID money, there's no telling when it's going to come into this county.
Okay.
It's supposed to have been here in May, and we still haven't seen a dime of it.
Well, yeah, we have the old money, but it's still, regardless of what it is, as far as COVID goes, it has to go before the council.
And another element, another part to the COVID money is there are restrictions upon it.
Yeah.
You can use it for roads and infrastructure.
Yes. And you could use certain facilities,
Parking lot.
improve, well, if they can prove their lack of ability to raise money due to the fact they couldn't do things for COVID. Parameter, and I'm pretty sure senior center would probably fill it. I mean, I don't want them to have to bank on that it will. And that they will get approval from the county council.
Okay, so the date of that meeting is the 11th? Or not?
Oh, you
Ninth.
mean 9.
That's what they said. Yeah, August the 9th.
Redevelopment by 9 o'clock, it's coming 6 o'clock here on the 9th, and then the county council meets on the 10th at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
Yeah.
If things don't go your way Monday night, then you can put your hat on and try again on Tuesday.
And I'm with.
I know.
Good.
I know you will.
Because
And then my motion is for the $44,950, full amount.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we got a motion made and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. American Recovery Act, Mr. Spindler.
So as has been previously reported, we're expecting 6 million from the American Recovery Act over the period of 2 years. The first draw is expected momentarily, the first half, 3 million plus momentarily. At the last meeting, we talked about forming a committee, and I would recommend that we do that tonight. I would propose the following members of that committee, the president of the commissioners, the president of the council, the county auditor, and the county attorney. If the commissioners are
Are
inclined,
we going to have any public members? Because we talked about that.
yeah,
I saw where the Louisville metropolitan area conducted some hearings, some public hearings, and invited the public in. That's my only 10 cents is I'd like to involve the public at, say, like a Toyota Event Center, advertise a night where people can come and give public input about their ideas for the projects. And whereby we can also explain what kinds of projects are eligible. I think, a lot of folks, including myself initially, thought 6.53 million, this is great, and we can do this, we can do that. But there are some pretty good guidelines to follow.
Oh, definitely. And it's also there to replace some of the money such as the county highway department lost in revenue.
Lost revenue is a big one.
And, you know, it sounds like a huge amount of money and it is a big amount of money, but that amount of money can go pretty fast.
Yeah, very true. I was
So
reading
we
up,
need to be very careful with it.
I was reading through the Rescue Plan Act and section 602 and 603 spelled out some latitude for the project and the monies. And, but this is something I thought might be of interest to my fellow commissioners. It said government services can include, but are not limited to maintenance or pay-go fund building of infrastructure, including roads, modernization of cybersecurity, which is on our agenda tonight, including hardware, software, and protection of critical infrastructure, health services, environmental remediation, school or educational services. And this was an interesting component. The sheriff may find this of interest, and the provision of police, fire, and other public safety services. And if you read on down further, they actually allotted $65.1 billion to all the counties in the United States. That's a significant chunk of change. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's all I wanted to add. I'm reading up on this in Invest in America Act right now, but that just passed through the House. That's $715 billion. And I don't know if that's going to take any traction or not, but so I'm sorry, Mr. Spindler.
No, you're fine.
That's
Oh, and I sent out an email just moments ago. Vanderburgh County, they have done something similar to what was proposed on this committee. But they also passed this is a resolution. It looks like just a statement. And that statement talks about, I guess, their proposed budget. Subsequent to that statement, they formed this committee. It looks like that committee has had 2 meetings, but it's canceled both. So I was going to try to give you some insight as to who the members were on that committee, but they've canceled both. The recommendation that I made was, I think, consistent with what Debbie Bennett has suggested, has recommended, and probably consistent with what other communities are doing. But in Vanderburgh County, so that statement, they're doing like 12, they got 65 million, if I remember correctly, 12.5 to broadband, 5 million to sewer, health department premium pay, 25,000. You can see it when you open the attachment in your email. So any other discussion on the committee? And Mary, I understand your proposal is to add.
Well, I mean, we had talked about, and I've talked to a few people, you know, about it out. Said they might, you know, they want to think about it, but might consider being on. You know, the county's responsible for the money. That's all there is to it. But, you know, I don't know if, you know, maybe we should consider somebody. I mean, I really don't know. I'm just putting it out because that's like we talked about.
Sure. Why don't we form the committee with those members, and then if desirous, we can supplement it at the next commissioners meeting or subsequent
Yeah,
commissioners
well,
meeting.
that's not, well, yeah, as they put out at the very beginning, the state, Debbie said, it, the federal said it. This is all subject to change in the future because different things are going to change around.
Yes. Sure.
So I don't have a problem with doing that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Nope.
no, sir.
Hearing that, I would request a motion to approve the members previously mentioned.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, I was just.
Hear you and I on that one.
Ken.
Okay, I've got,
Is that an aye? Okay.
okay, the ayes have it unanimous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it was a little scattered, but yes.
I was busy writing my name.
Had to concentrate on it.
Yes. Had to remember what it was.
Mr. Spindler, is there anything else in regards to the American Recovery Act? I know we have some projects to discuss. One of them, as Mary mentioned, is reimbursement for some of our deficiencies or losses during COVID within our departments. The EMT department, I know, is wanting to be part of that discussion. I've told those folks, if we do have a public hearing like I'm wanting, then they could address it at that point with the general public. There's also some talk about an EMS building here in Princeton, the need for an EMS building here in Princeton. So I think those will eventually be brought up at a public hearing. Mr. Spindler, are we okay to just establish that we are going to have a public hearing? Do you want to proceed with that at this point, or just kind of stand down on that?
Why don't you let me coordinate it so I can, you're wanting to have it at the fairgrounds, you mentioned?
I think that would be best, so we can have as many people as possible.
Yeah, so I can work on coordinating that probably 30 days out or so.
Sounds good.
And I will circulate an email advising of when it's.
And again, this public hearing would be to, invite community members, Gibson County citizens to come in and understand what the rules and guidelines are. We'll make those known. Maybe even bring Debbie Bennett Steersman in to kind of direct that protocol. And then, take input from folks. There may be some folks out there with some outstanding ideas and should be interesting. Should be interesting.
And on that note, we did apply today. We've got it applied for, and we should hear something in 4 to 5 days, wasn't it? 4 to 5 days on the money and everything. So,
We actually heard something from them, huh?
well, no, we finally applied for
Oh.
it. There was miscommunication
Oh,
going
okay.
on, and Christy and I worked on it today and got it entered in and everything. So we should hear in 4 to 5 days about it, and then we'll take it from there. And until we do something with it, I'd just like to add, until we do something with it, there is the possibility, because we do have the right to invest that money, put it in some short-term fund if possible, if there is, that we could make a few, $2,000 or $3,000 on it possibly, or something. And, huh?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin, yeah. And that, or slot machines, let's put it that way. So, but that money would go into the general fund. Whatever we would make off of that would go in the general fund. It cannot go back into this fund. So just some food for thought there.
But it is allowable.
Yes, yes.
Good idea. Do we need to put that to a motion, Mr. Spindler, or is that something we could do at a future meeting? I mean, you're at the earliest, you would get 50% of it, correct?
We'll get 50%, we'll get 3 million.
Okay.
I would say let's wait and get the committee together to decide before we move on with doing something like that.
Very good. Very good. All right.
My opinion, it's not
Your
mine.
opinion is valued.
For what it's worth, Mike.
Yeah.
Mr. Spindler, anything else in regards to the ARA?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. Maryland West? Maryland, we have a few updates for you.
Okay.
I say a few, quite a few. We, after your last visit to our commissioners meeting, we did some investigation and contacted our camera company. And they came out, they met with some of our representatives. And they were able to, I think, educate, explain, maybe even fine tune a few things to make sure that the wheeling cameras are up and working. And not only that, but that data or information from them can be retrieved. We've also talked, and it's definitely open up for more discussion tonight if we need to, but We've talked about placing some additional cameras out there at the Severance Bridge. They're not there yet, but that's in the works. So just want to let you know that we had done some follow-up on that, and we're looking to really try to keep everything
halt to this.
recorded and put a halt to some of this goofy behavior, disrespectful behavior. So anyhow, I'm gonna turn it over. Do you have any updates from your end?
My updates are, as far as the covered bridge, the graffiti has been repainted over. I don't know what kind of paint they're using, but the white paint that we normally had used, I'm gonna have to go back over it again.
Really?
So I mean, they're getting into the oranges and the.
Well, the higher pigmented
Right.
So it's gonna have.
So it's,
I'm gonna have to go, 'cause
the
I-
graffiti's bleeding through.
So I gotta redo that. The whites, the neighbors,
Mhm.
where the end of the picnic table are, they've been mowing, I've got knee issues right now.
Yeah,
They've been mowing the sides of, the road there by the bridge. The weeds have not been gotten yet. I've got pictures of that. It's
Yeah.
just taken over. And 3-foot weeds. and
that where the rock is, see, I was gonna go get the kind that's a complete kill. It's supposed to be a year's kill. But the problem is, we get rain, it'll bleed, kind of silt down on other grass and it'll kill everything. Is that where the rock is? Will that hurt anything? I mean, will it leach down and kill other grass or?
Well, I mean, I've got pictures here, you can see.
That's
We
all-
have just used Roundup.
Right.
That we have paid for the last 4 years.
But
So.
Roundup
but
don't
we
last
can do
long
it.
anymore.
Well, that's all we had.
I know.
And I mean, it's just gonna take over. So if you don't get it, I mean, we've got new gravel there and it
Okay,
looks terrible.
I'd say, yeah,
mean,
because
it's
I'd be
just-
afraid that it leach
Well,
down.
the whites
onto
are
the-
right there and I'm sure they wouldn't probably care. That's a goat, sorry.
Yeah, it's a goat.
Somebody's feeding an animal
Oh,
at the
really?
covered bridge. It looks probably like a dog or something. I don't know. They put a water in a
Yeah,
thing there, so I took a picture of that. Yeah, it's just,
yeah, it's gonna be Roundup.
it's just gonna take over. There's a
Yeah,
picnic table
yeah.
bolted down.
Yeah,
It's just,
okay.
but we did it with spray Roundup. We did
Right.
it for the last 4 years, but you said you had something better,
Well,
so.
like I said, it's a permanent kill. But if it rains and it leaches down on the good grass, the good grass is gonna go too.
Roundup does too.
Yeah.
And we managed it. But anyway,
Okay,
that's up to you. But this is what it looks like. That's the last of the covered bridge. Severance Bridge, that was just terrible. I got all the graffiti and the approach patches painted, all the pillars, it was graffitied. I've got all the approach pats
yeah,
painted. Okay, still
Yeah.
not mowed at that end. Grady, I have a guy that was mowing the other end. But this was
Okay.
orange and you can see the walls that they're up on the walls now.
all right, yeah, I see that.
And Grady mowed back there by the picnic tables. It was just, the graffiti is just terrible out there. The blue paint, when they get on the blue bridge, I actually have been buying the spray paint from Walmart, the Krylon.
Yeah,
Matches it perfect, and believe it or not. But they can only graffiti so high, so that's as high as I can paint, spray paint.
mhm,
I've got all the blue painted off the graffiti, it's all covered up. They've got onto the wood planks of the bridge, they got paint on that. They're graffitiing the side of the bridges there. Like I said, I painted all the pillars and the approach paths, all looks nice. Grady, let me check his name, I always forget his last name. Grady Herman, I worked with him at Toyota when I worked there, and he lives just a few houses down from the Severance Bridge. And he'd seen actually put a post on Facebook asking for help while I'm under knee issues here. And I did get some response, and of course it rained several days, so it was a while for us to get there. But Grady went down and mowed that picnic area for me, and I said, how did you get in there? He said, he just undid the rails,
mhm.
moved them out so he could get in and put it back. I didn't know to do that. I mean, I wouldn't, of course, I don't have that big equipment like that. He was willing to know if it could be bush hog open, so the road back behind the Severance, so you could see better.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about that. I can't do that. I don't know anything about that. He took it upon himself, he's emailed me. He said he bought 5 security lights, 3 fake cameras with LED lights plus warning signs. Hope that helps. He did this on his own, $86 I think he spent. They're not up yet. I told him, please let me know when you go down there.
Mhm.
I don't know, I didn't get a quick, done it before I even knew.
Yeah,
But, I don't know, what's your opinion on that? Is that okay or not?
That's
I
okay. I
think the
mean,
lighting is gonna benefit.
yes, and the fake cameras, if they got LED light in them, yeah, they're gonna.
Real cameras.
Oh,
So anyway, he just took that
Not
upon
supposed to be.
himself over it. A real nice guy. He
Yeah.
lives so close to Severance. Unfortunately, I'm looking at knee replacement here. And, I'm not gonna be able to do this for
Yeah.
a while. I'm gonna ask Grady if he can take over this position.
mhm.
Unfortunately, tonight, I've never done this before. As a volunteer, I'm resigning. I'm sorry, I'm resigning. If I care more about these 2 bridges than anybody else,
Mhm.
you're my commissioner, then you know what, you take care of them. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it with my knee.
Yeah.
My husband is just saying the same thing. If you don't care, then why should we? Hopefully Grady will take this over. He's a great guy. And he just lives
What's
down
it-
the street from Severance.
Oh, really?
And so I'm gonna get with Grady. He's one that purchased those cameras and those lights. And I still got him in to call me, let me know when you're down there. And he was gonna let me know. So evidently, I think they come tomorrow. I think he told me the email comes tomorrow from Amazon. He got them. And he's gonna put them up. So I don't know if there's any rules. Evidently, there's nothing, nobody cares. So I guess where he puts them, must have the idea,
Right.
a good idea.
Sounds
where
like
to put
he's
them.
really good help. Could we
Yeah.
get his number before you leave?
I
tonight?
will. Well,
I've got paper if you want to write on
Oh,
paper.
yeah, I can do that. But yeah, Grady is a man that I'm gonna ask if he could take over the Severance because he lives right down there. And, he's a real great guy.
How old a fella is he?
I think he's like maybe late 30s.
Oh, so he's just a kid.
Yeah, he's,
Okay.
yeah, younger than me.
All right.
Well, as far as the bush hogging goes.
But he wanted to,
Depend on, whether it's county right away or not.
see,
If it's private land, we can't touch it, but if it's county right away, and we can check with highway department.
and what he's talking about, I think where the picnic area is, there's 2 picnic tables, I guess Toyota had donated at one time. He's talking about, I think, opening that up. There's one tree that's fallen.
Mhm.
And it looks dangerous. It needs to be cut down, or laid down or something. But I think he was talking about moving that stuff open.
Right,
So
right.
that road behind there, so they can see down in there.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I don't know what,
Yeah.
well, whether it's county or whether it's
Right.
state.
Like the county garage needs to make a correct.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but some of it also,
County garage needs to make a correct.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
some of it could be. state
These are the
highway
cameras he purchased and
too,
stuff.
and so we can't touch that.
That's about what I used on my house. They work. They work.
It's probably partial of both.
I've had no trouble.
And they're signing security cameras in use. That's just what he said.
Mary,
5 security lights, 3
got a
fake
point there.
cameras
It
with
could be
LED
state.
lights.
So, I mean, it's just something that have to be checked out.
I do not have his phone number. I have Facebook. You can find him on Facebook.
Okay,
And I'll tell him that you'll be getting a hold of him.
okay.
Because it'd probably be tomorrow when those cameras go up. So he'll be calling me or whatever.
That's how you spell it there. Hold
Grady hopefully will take care of that.
I'm not on Facebook.
on. Okay, smart man.
Not anymore.
Go ahead and authorize the installation of the product that you mentioned. So if I can have a motion to that effect. For discussion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the donated devices. And also, if I could include in this motion, I'd like to include that we purchase a few, field type cameras, if you will, for Severance too. I'll entertain a second at this point.
I'll make it second.
Okay, we've got a motion made in a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
I really do hate it, 4 years, but.
Well, we hate it too. We hate
Yeah.
losing volunteers.
Yeah.
But I one more question. why would there not be funding for Seventh Bridge? It's a historical site.
Well, there's a difference between historical bridge
And a covered bridge.
and I guess you could say history bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just how the state designates them. We don't have any say on that. That's
But it's
strictly
on the
the
tourism
state.
board, so it's on the brochure. People come to Gibson
And
County, they go to
it's,
Seventh Bridge because there's history there.
there's history there, but it is not considered an historical bridge in the realm of like the covered bridges.
So the county does not have to take care of that, or somebody
No,
take care of it. No.
should.
I'm just gonna throw this out there,
We should.
since you're so passionate about it and we're fortunate to have your passion. But that's something that I think Eric Heidenreich, our Visitors and Tourism Director, I think that'd be a good question for him. And, you know, I mean, you never know. Sometimes you're giving lemons, right? And making a little lemonade. Maybe if you're not able to do all that physical part, maybe you could look into helping along the paperwork with that part of it. I'm not offering it or volunteering necessarily, but I'm thinking you obviously have a passion for it. You've worked on it for so many
I
years.
hate to say this way, but, you know, Grady seemed like he was like, oh my gosh, Grady, you're awesome. Where do you live? He said, just down the road from Severance. I said, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, maybe he would, but I want to talk to him face to face. So when he puts up the cameras and stuff, I told him, call me, text me, and I'll be there. And he said he would. So I believe that's tomorrow.
There may be a way to get that designation like Mary's talking about, is all I'm saying.
Mhm.
You know, if you dig a little.
But right now, I can't. I'm looking at.
Kay has something to offer.
And I just can't.
Okay,
United Consulting, got some kind of a grant or something to have that painted. I mean, state, because we had another one out there at Bulldog Avenue. And Ken knows this, we had to keep one of them, but we got funding from the state to do that bridge. I think it was 80-20 or something like that, maybe,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So there might be some funding somewhere for upkeep of it too.
through a grant, Kay?
Yes.
Through a grant.
State did that, yeah. It was all done with state funding. And I think might have been 20% of the county money. I'm not
Well,
sure.
yeah, usually most of those are
Or 80.
at least, you know, at the most 80-20.
That might be
Yeah.
really good.
Some are different percentages, but usually at the most they're 80-20.
But the supplies that I still have in my possession, the paints for the White Bridge and the Severance, I think I got almost done with the gray since I had to do both platforms, but I was gonna give those, if Grady was gonna do that, I was gonna pass over that paint to Grady and show him what I bought. It's free something can, but we always bought it. It didn't matter. We wanted it to look nice. And you know, they're doing a great big block, blue, black, orange letters on the end of the blue bridge, on the blue bridge.
How isn't it?
And Severance is easier to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, it matched good, so I can just go up there and spray, paint it blue, you know. And I was gonna hand him that can, and if he's willing to do this, so I will talk to Grady tomorrow. And then I will get back with Ken, you, I guess, I'll get back with you. And, or leave a message, however you want that communicated to you.
You can even, I'll give you my phone number. Just call me.
That's a new one, I'll take it.
Write it right on there.
Thank you. But I really hated, and you know, because when we go by that bridge and I see all that, I don't know if I'm gonna really be able to turn my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you say that
I needed that.
up there at the covered bridge, the paint, whoever used it bled through, the graffiti
Yeah,
bled through?
I have white paint.
Yeah.
So if Grady would take over, he's for sure Severance, but maybe Mrs. White, I can give her the paint. She's helped me in the past. And there's also was another customer that was just there touring, and she took the paintbrush out of my hands and she said, I love the paint. She lives down the road. So I've got two prospects, maybe one to take over wheeling and maybe Grady to take over. But you can't just walk away
Yeah.
and let it go. I've got some needs I gotta get, it.
I've had both of mine done,
And
so I know what you're talking about.
I can't just do it, I can't. So I'm trying to get someone to take over, so.
Mhm.
That's how much I care. I really do.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
That's all I have. I'll be back with you with
All right.
results.
Under new business, Town of Fort Branch sewer improvement expansion TIF request presentation. Welcome, Fort Branch representatives.
Thank you. Here's a copy of what I'm gonna present. My name's Eric Smith. I'm with HWC Engineering, out of Terre Haute. I've been working with the town of Fort Branch since about 2004 on their utility needs, infrastructure work. What we're here tonight is to kind of present some issues that are going on in their system that could keep them from serving development, and some proposed projects that we've developed and that we'll apply for some funding for, but there's a good chance we're going to need some more funding to make it viable. Also with me, Stacy Elpers with the Clerk Treasurer and Randy Wheaton, Town Manager. Just use the bottom one. Should be the right one, I think. There we go. Okay. Just a little bit of background on the existing collection system. This is the town. They have a sanitary sewer system that was originally built in the 1970s. It serves the corporate limits of the town. Over time, it has grown. It's generally a gravity system. The yellow lines show the flow that is directed to the treatment facility that's located here on Coal Mine Road. Most of the system is very older clay pipes, which have a tendency to leak over time. There's some newer sections of PVC on the outskirts of town, as areas have developed since the original construction. It serves the corporate limits of the town, along with some areas and developments outside the town, including commercial and residential, particularly along the 41 corridor. As you know, there's been some development around the Coal Mine Road and 41 intersection with the Ben Sims University facility, the Dollar General here now. They serve the school, and most recently they provide service to the new food tech facility north of town that is looking to expand and deliver more flow to the town. They have 6 lift stations that help deliver flow to the town. They've also, as the system has grown, they've taken in some areas like the Indian Hills area here and some subdivisions that has grown from the original systems. Recently, there's been some discussion and inquiries to the town about residential development in the areas primarily east of town and also south. With the expansion of Toyota motor manufacturing, there's some residential development needs in the area. So the town has gotten requests for some new subdivisions, some new housing, and being able to serve those with wastewater is very important to the town to grow and for the county as well. This is the existing wastewater plant that's there on Coal Mine Road. Talk a little bit about some of the technical aspects of it. It's 700,000 or 0.7 million gallons per day plant average flow, 2.1 million gallons per day peak flow. It's a mechanical plant with a new screen that we just did a project in 2020. They got some grant funding and some loan funding from the state to do some sewer rehab to try to solve some of the leaks in the system, and also put in a new mechanical screen that screens the waste at the plant, which is located right here. It's got influent pumps, 2 oxidation ditches. These are the main treatment components right here. These oxidation ditches, they look like orbals or ovals. 2 circular clarifiers right here. Return and waste sludge pumping station, this building right here. They still use chlorine gas and sulfur dioxide gas for disinfection. Those facilities are right here, with the tank located right here. And then discharge to the west branch of Pigeon Creek. Back in 2007, there was a flow equalization basin built along with these new clarifiers and some other improvements. And that was used to store wet weather flow. As I'll allude to on some of their problems, they get a lot of inflow in their system, from groundwater, from storm drains. There's a variety of places where that clear water or non-sanitary can get in. They had attempted to try to remove that for a number of years. That's a common problem in old systems, and you can spend a lot of money and still not solve that problem. So at that time, they built this storage basin, so that when flows exceeded the capacity of the plant, they would be pumped to this basin to be held. And then when the flows subsided to the plant, these flows could be then drained back and then processed to the plant as the flows were lower. That was built in 2007. And then the plan was over time to try to continue to attack the inflow and infiltration problem. Some of the needs now that we've identified over the last few years, and particularly since that last project was just completed, they continue to have inflow and infiltration. Wet weather impacts flows conveyed to the plant. They've seen flows as high as 3 and 4 million gallons per day when the peak flow of the plant is only 2.1. So that required that holding basin to be used extensively, and there have been times where it's been full, and they don't have the ability to send more flow to it. Because of that, they've had some issues with IDEM, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. They have put the town on an early warning sewer ban due to the average annual flows exceeding the rated capacity of the plant due to the wet weather flows and the drain back. What that means is when you average the daily flow across the year, it's higher than what the rated capacity is. So in IDEM's eyes, they think you're at capacity. When in fact, the reason for that is the flow being drained back. Because under normal drier days, they may have flows of 300,000-400,000 gallons per day. The early warning sewer ban can affect the town because that means IDEM has the right to scrutinize development. If somebody wants to build a subdivision that requires a sewer permit, they could scrutinize that and perhaps deny the permit to connect to the system. So it can affect their ability to grow and serve development. It's called an early warning sewer ban because that is what it is. It's a warning. They've not been put on a sewer ban yet, but they're raising the alarm that there is concern, and they're going to continue watching. They're also under an agreed order issued by IDEM due to violations in the system caused by some of the depreciated treatment facilities at the plant that I'll look at, and then also some high flow. Right now, the plant lacks capacity for growth and development until the problems in the collection system can be located. That can be a long process. So in order to serve development, which the town leaders believe is imminent because they're getting requests now, the need is to put some additional capacity in the system now while they continue to seek resolution and remediation of the problems in the sanitary system. Several pieces of equipment at the plant, including pumps, blowers, need replaced because some of those were not in the most recent project in 2007, and thus approaching the 3-year age. And then due to safety concerns, there's a strong desire to switch from gas to disinfection. There is a process now that you don't provide a lot of plants implement to. So after the last project, we've developed a project to address the capacity needs for the plant. And at the same time, there's some money that's left over from that last project. The town is using that to do smoke testing of their entire sanitary sewer system. That's a good way to try to find where there are cross connections with storm sewers, where people may have sump pumps connected. That gives you locations where you can hopefully pull some of that clear water off the system. So the thought is to locate those, do that over time, and get additional capacity in the plant while also replacing equipment and processes that have just depreciated and reached the end of their life. So the proposed project is going to increase the capacity from 0.7 or 700,000 gallons per day to 1.05 million gallons per day. So that's an increase of 305,000 gallons per day on an average flow basis, or a 50% increase. So that will allow them to deal with the flow, drain back from the full utilization basin, while still providing growth and capacity for hundreds of homes of residential development. The peak flow will increase from 2.1 MGD to 3.15. The proposed project will also increase the sludge handling facilities. That's the biosolids material that begins the process, which is definitely needed in this system. I'm not going to go into all of the details, but we're going to replace the 3 raw pumps, or the pumps that flow the influent flows, so that they can meet that peak capacity of 3.15. We're going to increase the capacity of those oxidation ditches by putting new aerators in there. And there are new equipment that can gain additional capacity out of those ditches without increasing the tank size. So that will get us the additional capacity there. Adding a 3rd clarifier, and then replacing the disinfection systems with UV to eliminate the chemicals. In the large basin, there's 5 aerators that are non-functional. Remove and replace those. Replace the blowers. Replace all the sludge pumps, and install a screw press that will allow them. Right now, they get rid of sludge on a liquid basis, but somebody has to come in and pump out of their tanks because they don't have facilities to do it differently. This will allow them to run their sludge through a screw press that will be water, and then it can go into a dumpster, and then it can just be taken to a landfill. Will save a lot of labor for the town. Along with all this work, increase the size of site piping where needed, gravity sewers, and sports mains. Replace the effluent pump. There are times when the creek gets high that they have to pump the effluent flow. That pump has been having problems, so that needs to be replaced. And then some site lighting for safety. This just shows where some of those improvements are going to be. This at the headworks of the plant where the influent pumps will be replaced. These are the dishes we'll put in the new rotors and aeration equipment. Here's the new clarifier that will match the size of the 2 that they have. This is the sludge building that will hold the screw press and the piping that they'll still have drying beds that they can use as a secondary process, but they'll have a dumpster that they can have hauled away. And we'll dispose of the chemical facilities and put in ultraviolet light process for disinfection in the existing structure there. I've just got some photos, and this is all in your packet. You can see some of the condition of some of the equipment and its age. These are buildings that house the chemical tanks for the disinfection. These would be removed completely, and again, we would have an ultraviolet equipment. It's a channel that has lights in it that would disinfect the wastewater before it's discharged. This is the tank that will go in. These are the raw wastewater pumps. Right now, with the peak flow being 2.1 million gallons per day, they're only able to pump about 1.5. So right now, we're sending more flow to that basin than we even should be because of the capacity of those pumps. These are the oxidation ditches where we'll be replacing the aeration equipment, which is just structured here under this hood. In both of those. These are the sludge pumps that will be upgraded. This is the basin where we have 5 of the mixers, and why these are in here is to reduce odor. The waste that gets in there is pretty clean because a lot of it's caused by stormwater. but the item does still require you to put these mixers in to eliminate potential odor. So the cost estimate that we've developed covers all the work that I just described, and we've got construction costs of 4.6 million. With construction contingency at 460,000. Total construction cost of 5 million. With non-construction costs of 1.5, you got a total capital cost of 6.5 million. Recently, the Indiana Finance Authority announced a program. The state legislature funded the supplemental water infrastructure fund. It's for water, wastewater, and stormwater projects for eligible communities and systems in the state. Those applications went in on July 15th. We submitted the maximum grant amount you can get through that program is 5 million. They allocated 100 million that's going to be split in two phases, 50 million this year and 50 million next year, next July. So we applied for 5 million, the maximum amount, and then the town would be right now co-funding the rest. We don't know if we'll get that grant funding, if we'll get all of it or part of it or none of it. So tonight we just wanted to introduce the project and its needs, and you know, hopefully we consider for some assistance from Tiff. So, Tiff, I don't know if you want to say anything. We have down.
State over quick treasurer town of Fort Branch. So at this time, after hearing Eric's presentation and the needs for the town of Fort Branch directly supports UTEC that's came in. We know that they are expanding, and there's all kinds of property out there by UTEC that is for sale. We know that Toyota is going to be expanding itself. So, and from what I hear, they're getting tight in the area that they're at. So the only place to go is across the street, which would be in our area, and Fort Branch would be the ones that's going to provide the sewer service. So with the 1,400 new jobs that's coming in for Toyota, there's going to be the need for housing, with the housing projects that are going to be out there. We would, on the behalf of town Fort Branch, I would like to request consideration in moving our project forward to redevelopment.
Say so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I'm going to these economic development committees and these meetings on a regular basis. And, you know, we've had people in there, I mean, honestly, people practically shouting for housing and to accommodate housing. And I think we also have to take into consideration here, we're accommodating industry, as you mentioned. But so, I mean, right now where you guys are, you're not in really a position to be offering any sewer hookups, especially not like a 40 to 50 lot subdivision. Am I right? I mean,
it would be strongly scrutinized by IDM right now. That's not to say it couldn't get permitted, but they want to see some either removal and reduction of flows or increase in capacity. Until we know where we can reduce flows, increasing capacity is the most viable, quickest option to do it.
And I see this as a direct link to Toyota subsidiary. And I know I think in doing some research on this, we have been very, accommodating and helpful to Toyota and its subsidiaries. I think we've even worked with the city of Princeton on a big water project. Accommodate them and their accommodation of the subsidiaries related to Toyota. So I definitely would be supportive of it also. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah. I am not in favor of sending it to Tiff right now. I want to be able to research and look at it. We looked at the Princeton project for a pretty long time before we decided how we can possibly do it in that, and I would like to do the same thing with this. I mean, I understand where you're at and everything, but also when I kind of understand when you accepted the ViewTech and the TIF money and that to do that, you knew you were at capacity when you were going to get that. So, but I just feel like we need to look at it and study it more. And see, you know, how much, et cetera. And it'd be wonderful if you'd hear that you got the money. But we know how that goes too.
Those awards will be announced on August 12th.
August 12th.
So we will know.
Well, everything's August 12th.
On that.
And what you're proposing is, should you receive that funding, then we could adjust the amount down. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I don't want to speak on behalf of the town,
Sure,
but I
sure.
don't think we're standing here, wanting $6 million.
Right.
Wanting some help for the project.
Sure.
We'll be in a better position to know where our gaps, where the town has
Right.
gaps in funding. Short.
Well, I feel like you're, a highly qualified engineer and come highly recommended, and I feel like, we've tried, I think, to work with entities in the Union and the Patoka Township areas. I would make a motion that we move it forward to the redevelopment commission this time.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Aye, nay, whatever.
One nay.
I think we need to study it more, but
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Next up, we have the radar speed display at County Road 250 South. And I've taken some calls, some concerned callers, if you will, folks concerned about the speeds out there, and just wanted to see if we could possibly get our radar speed display machine back up and running, or maybe it is currently running, and set it out at a few places in our county. Other commissioners may have some other locations too. The two that were mentioned to me were County Road 250 South, which is if you will, an exit route for Toyota traffic going northeast. And the other one was Coal Mine Road, past the sewer plant that was just mentioned, past the bridge and past the sewer plant. Sheriff, do you know where we are on availability of that machine, or maybe maintenance of it, or?
As far as I know, it should be up and running, and the availability could be good. We gotta have places where it could be put in security. Can't just set it out there anywhere and leave it.
it's a good size.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you just can't park it anywhere, where there's no.
I know there's been times they had it there by Buthel Left there on Seed Dick Road. You know what I'm talking about? But I've seen it there before, working for the county. I've seen it there.
You just gotta have enough area along the side of the road.
Yeah.
To set it, and then like I said, to secure it. If nothing else, our road starters to make sure we get some people out there try to run some radar. But, as long as we know where you're having problems, we can try to do what we can do.
That'd be great. And if you want me to contact a particular road sergeant, I can. And this one gentleman, he even volunteered to allow us to use his front yard or his area out there to put it right up against or close to, adjacent, if you will, to the road. And the town of Fort Branch, I think we could probably persuade them to let us use the area there by the sewer plant. They have an open lot. So I might be able to find some working room for us. And
Guys can go out, and look at these areas and see if we can find places to put them.
okay, if you need my assistance, feel free to give my contact information to a sergeant or call me. And I'll get out there and find some spots too, if you need my help on it. So appreciate that.
250 South.
County Road 250 South, yes, east of. And the way I got to it, if this makes sense to you, I took 350 out past the county garage, went out there and took got on the super slab, and then went out there and I caught 250. I tell you where it came out, Sheriff. It came out there in front of Hopkins Park.
Yeah, it comes up
That's
by
where
my
it came
house.
out. Yeah, it came out in front of the new Hopkins Park where they're doing all the excavation work and turned into a beautiful facility, but that's where it came out at. And what I determined, Sheriff, and I'm no expert like yourself in any way, shape or form, But I determined, just through watching some traffic and looking at the roadways out there, that what folks were doing, and I understand it, I probably even agree with it. But they're bypassing the railroad tracks there where the trains only stop. And it's causing some of our Toyota employees in our county to get stopped there, and they don't want to be late to work. I get it. We just want them to be safe and arrive at work, in one piece. We want them to be safe, and not only them, but the neighbors out there. And so I think the gentleman's concern that contacted me was, we have a lot of young children out there, especially by the Hopkins Park areas, is the area I'm talking about there where the children were. I think they even have a, slow, watch children type sign out there. But and this gentleman, he acted like he's pretty happy with the signage. I asked him about the signage out there, and he didn't complain about the signage per se, but he was concerned that the Toyota workers, he was concerned about them arriving safely to work, and also the citizens that live along that road. So I appreciate your help on that, Sheriff. Cybersecurity, Mary?
Well, I've been working with the insurance company in Parish. We actually were in pretty good shape, but we have to initiate that. And if we don't get it started now, we're pushing the deadline pretty bad right now anyway, but it's more a matter of implementing it than it is. It's not putting anything in. It's the work put in to implement it, to teach the employees, how it would be used and that. And basically what it is a double security. Same thing, kind of like what the banks do and that. And so, we need to move forward with this, and so Parish can do, and also we're talking about with the insurance company and that it's recommended we go from 1 million to 2 million coverage. And if we don't get this implemented, we don't have cyber insurance, period. That's all there is to it. Insurance company won't do it. But I mean, the 2 million that's a speak to basically the council, because it will be extra money, of which we've already put forth to them as far as next year's budget goes. And so I just, want to know that, we are, and Parish is moving forward with trying to get it implemented into all the offices and all the county business.
So we need to make a motion on that, Mary, or are they just gonna do it? I mean,
Well,
I know it needs to be done.
No, I mean, I guess I'd put that to Jason, is whether he thought we needed to. In order to have cyber insurance, we have to have this security. So me, we have to have cyber insurance. As if you talk to anybody in the insurance, industry and that, they're settling $1 million cases daily on, hackers and all this different wares that people are putting out there. So I just basically want to, going from what our insurance, and we agreed we had to do with the cyber security and that we are moving forward. And since Parish is our IT people, and they have things in place to just step forward and implement it. So, I mean, there's things we need to,
I think the only action item you need is approval for the 2 million in the coverage, which I strongly recommend as well. I think everybody's in agreement with it, but if we can have a motion on that.
So I'll make the motion, we go with the cybersecurity and the insurance of 2 million.
2 million, well, I'll second that. And, as far as implementing the 2 million immediately, that has to go to the council for an additional appropriation.
Have a motion made and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mary. Major medical leave, I believe we need to put that to a motion as well as the FMLA.
Yes. There's 1 FMLA and 2 major medical leaves have checked the paperwork. Everything is all there. Just needs signatures and approval and signatures.
I'll ask for a motion this time to approve both major medical leave and the FMLA.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anything else, Mr. Watkins?
That's it with that.
I understand we have a Peabody letter, storm debris. I think that should be storm debris.
It is.
Okay.
I can read the letter into the record, just a few paragraphs. The letter reads as follows: Gibson County has encountered several storms that have caused us to stockpile a large amount of vegetative storm debris. Due to storms being emergency situations, we haul the debris and stockpile it at the Gibson County Solid Waste Site just south of the highway. This area is accessible even in wet conditions, allowing storm cleanup to be completed. Running out of space, stockpile the vegetative storm debris, of which will complicate emergency removal in the future. In 2017, following a tornado, Gibson County worked with Peabody to dispose of the stockpile. In 2019, we again worked with Peabody to dispose of the debris. Gibson County is asking for assistance with disposal at this time to allow future events to be handled in the best possible way. The vegetative storm debris consists of trees, tree limbs, stumps, corn stalks, bean stubble, leaves, and soil. No hazardous materials of any kind are known to be within the vegetative debris. The estimated amount currently within the stockpile is 4,400 cubic yards.
Mhm.
Thanks for being a great corporate partner and helping Gibson County be a better place. The commissioners, approve this correspondence and send out. Sign the document.
Also move.
Second.
Yeah, I see it for just a moment.
Sure.
When you're done looking at it.
This is, we've done this as it says in the past. Peabody's been great to be able to take it out there to get rid of it.
Yeah, because anymore, you can't just burn it. You gotta put it somewhere.
Okay, I believe we have a motion made and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we'll send that back down, I believe.
Do you need to send this? Okay.
Next up is Toyota lot number 4, traffic signal change order. And I don't know a great deal about this, other than I did receive a copy today of the change order. And Engineer Holden explained some of it to me, to his best ability. I mean, he did a good job of explaining it to his best ability, but I don't know. I'm just thinking we need a few answers before we pay for this. They're asking, I'll find my documentation here somewhere. Was it $15,681.75? And it's my understanding, the way it was explained to me by our engineer, the county engineer that is that they had set up a light out there and then had some trouble with it. And then the very next day, we took some action and reprogrammed the light. And then Toyota had requested that we conduct this change order for $15,681.75. Now, this, for anyone who may not know, this is the $13 million project that's currently underway for parking lot number 4 at TMMI. But I guess my question is why are we making that change order?
Well, that map showed me that the guy had a green area to get there in time, but the other light was green. He went ahead and turned and got T-boned. So now then Toilers want to change it.
Well, it's a, well, he didn't have agree, it says stop. You do not turn right on red.
Right.
And it's this direction goes, then everybody stops, that direction goes and stop. You know, it's a 3 different intersection. He did not follow the signage in that to stop. He just kept going. And therefore, yeah, he got T-boned by somebody that was driving according to the lights. And so put in a, you know, a turn signal light, like, you know, we have at other intersections than the intersection above that.
And I mean, the reason I'm addressing here is I just think we need a clear explanation as to why it is the county's cost. I really just don't know. I mean, I genuinely do not know why we would have to assume or you know, absorb, if you will, the amount of $15,681.75.
Well, that whenever this guy got hit, it was the first time that light would actually been used. I mean, it just didn't service one day and had an accident.
And
Now
it's
they
on a
want to
county
change it.
road.
Huh?
And it's on a county road.
I understand that.
We've paid a great
Can't
deal.
read the signals and don't go.
And we've paid a great deal. I think, you know, I'm not saying it was unfair amount, but we paid a great deal for engineering services. And I feel like our engineers have done a satisfactory job. I just don't know. I need a clear explanation as to why it's our cost. Like, why are we paying it? And I'm sure someone can give us a good explanation. I'm not saying it's impossible. I would just like to see us table paying it until we have a clear explanation as to why it's Gibson County's cost. That's all I'm saying.
Sounds good to me, because one driver, it's gonna cost us $15,000. I can't see that.
Mr. Spindler, do we need to put that to a motion, or can we just table it and say we need more?
Table it unless there's a motion.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to put it to a motion, the tabling of it. Before you adjourn, I do have a courthouse security update I'd like to provide.
Okay.
So I know that the commissioners are aware of this. This is one for the public. We've been down to using just the south basement entrance of the courthouse for quite some time, and that's going to continue. That's what both judges agree is necessary for the safety of everyone involved. There has been some recent developments in the basement entrance, which include sheriff's department deputies being present, and patrons who enter going through a scanner. The patrons are supposed to leave any bags or backpacks, those types of personal property in their vehicle or elsewhere, and not bring them into the courthouse. The public will go through that metal detector that I previously mentioned. Stephanie McKinney is working on issuing badges to employees, elected officials, attorneys. And the purpose of these badges are for the law enforcement officers, the deputies that are there, to be able to distinguish between the general public and those that are there more regularly conducting business. So if you're in the courthouse anytime in the near future, you will see that. We started it, Sheriff, what was it, about a week ago that started?
Yeah.
And that's it. More changes possibly coming likely.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, as been discussed in meetings and that, you know, we are in the process of getting a full pledge security like other courthouses, state mandated. We're very close to having it complete, you know, put to bed to do. But so just this scanner is a temporary at a temporary spot right now until we get into that construction part. And when the security actually goes, projects gets completed, and that it will be a typical one like you go through in Vandenberg or Warwick or any of them.
Patty.
How does that affect heritage usage of the courthouse basement?
It's a good question.
Because you guys have already approved us to use that, and it's not in our budget to go another route now, with it being so close.
Will your use be during operational hours or non-operational hours?
Well, Friday is the only day that's during operational hours, but Friday, the festival is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, it's not operational hours.
Okay.
I'd say after hours, it would be just south entrance is the only one open, but there would be sheriff's deputies there to inspect people.
But it'll be locked up, so right?
It'll be
like
locked,
usually
the
are.
basement.
Like it
will be the only
like it
accessible
usually
area.
is.
Okay.
Is there anything else on that issue? Okay, is there any other public input or? I'll make a motion to adjourn at this time.
Second that motion.
Motion made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you for coming.
Oh.